Hello again, everybody, and welcome to our show. This is a parking ticket. We all get them, and there's no arguing this one. I didn't feed the meter. But you know, if you ever wanted to fight one of these, have we got the lady to defend you? She never backs down from a fight of any kind. Jenny Reid is a criminal defense lawyer. When she goes looking for justice, she has to be ready to fight for it.
What you have is a defendant who's got the whole system up against them.
Yeah, Crown's inside.
And then what they have is a lawyer standing on their side. You never know if someone's going to get arrested, whether the Crown's going to release them, whether they're not, whether you're going to have a fight on your hands that day, whether you're not.
Chances are Jenny will have a fight on her hands. If not in the courtroom, then later that day in the boxing ring.
Get that jab out. Get it out. Mean business with it. Gotta get back. You're staying in there too long.
For the last 3 years, she's been trading her briefcase for boxing gloves a few times a week. Jenny says it's relaxing.
When I have a really bad week or I get really stressed out, there's just like a release of all the tension and stress. And you can really take it out on the punching bag or whatever.
So what happened today? What went on in court today?
I had some clients up for guilty pleas, and I had a bit of trouble keeping them out of jail.
Many of Jenny's clients are in jail to begin with. She's often their last resort, their only hope for parole or transfer or just plain fair treatment.
You have to work so hard to get justice that you shouldn't have to work that hard for it. Justice should not be a given. I mean, it's not to be taken for granted, but it should at least, you should have an expectation of justice. And often, to get justice for certain people is very difficult.
Luckily, Jenny has always liked a challenge. That's why she went into law, and that's why she specialized in criminal law.
Hello, Jenny Reid speaking.
Traditionally, criminal law has been dominated by men.
Okay, but if he has been charged with something, he's certainly entitled to a lawyer's call.
But Jenny doesn't place too much stock in tradition.
I wasn't raised that way. No, I mean, if you want to do something and you think you can do it and you want to do it, we'll try it. See if you like it.
20 push-ups.
It was 3 years ago that Jenny moved from the courthouse to the clubhouse. She was the first woman to join the Kingston Boxing Club. And some of the guys were pretty sure she'd be the last.
They really expected that I wouldn't like it or I would get hurt. And I'd go home and I would never come back. Or I'd go home crying or whatever, I don't know. And they were really surprised when I stuck it out.
The men have recovered from their surprise, but they're still a little nervous about sparring with a woman. It makes Jenny mad when they don't seem to try as hard or hit as hard. They call it courtesy. She calls it plain old-fashioned chauvinism. What do you do in the ring when she smacks you and you're standing there? What do you do?
Well, me, I just do what I usually do, and since she's a lawyer, I don't hit her back.
I don't like sparring with women. Might hurt them.
Have you felt what her left uppercut is like? What do you feel when you have to hit her? I mean, you...
I don't. My mother will beat me up.
But Jenny's toughest opponents weren't in the boxing ring. They were the officials in charge of the sport. Until 3 years ago, they refused even to register female boxers. Then Jenny wrote them a letter accusing them of discrimination and threatening to take them to court. And oh yes, she just happened to mention she was a lawyer.
On my left is a young lady lawyer from Kingston, Ontario.
Young lady lawyer 5 months after she wrote the letter, the fight card read Therese Robitaille of New Brunswick and Jenny Reid of Kingston, Ontario. It was the first sanctioned amateur boxing match for women, not just in Canada, but in the world. Boxing history was being made that night, but Jenny wasn't exactly reveling in it. What are you thinking right now?
I hope this is over soon.
Jenny ended up losing the match. But the exposure seems to have had an effect. In the past 2 years, the number of registered female boxers in Canada has gone from 2 to nearly 100.
These things are changing, and they change slowly, and at some point, if you're lucky, things are ready to change when you're there, and you're there at the right time in the right place, and I was just lucky to be there at the right time in the right place.
Lucky, maybe, but also determined. Here in the boxing ring, as well as in the courtroom, Jenny Reid has managed to turn tradition on its ears by never backing down from a fight.
I think when I started boxing, I was fighting for myself and for my self-esteem, my confidence. And I think at times in the criminal justice system, I'm fighting for somebody else, for their self-esteem, for their survival. My client is trying to comply and wasn't able to do so. There's always the thrill when you really can make something work for somebody, when you can fix it. Objection, Your Honor. It's clear that my friend is trying to introduce hearsay evidence, and that is not admissible. I'm not going to back down for anybody.
Oh, it's a beautiful day, Chippewa.